Hey everybody, welcome back to PluggedIn Radio, episode number 20. We've hit the milestone on the podcasting number. Number 20 is when they say that you're not going to give up on a podcast. Once you hit 20 episodes, the trend is the podcast is going to stick around for a little while. And I'm obviously excited to do that. So welcome to episode 20. What is this podcast all about? Well, today we're going to talk to someone who actually creates a plugin. They're going to demonstrate that plugin and see if it's right for us. Is it going to be right for our content marketing efforts, for our agency business, for us as maybe a blogger? We're going to learn all about that stuff today. And then sometimes you'll catch the show with Joe and I. We're talking about WordPress news, headlines, industry news, industry topics. That's what PluggedIn Radio is all about. So it's a grab bag. It's a grab bag of fun. Sort of all about the WordPress ecosystem and the space around the ecosystem. It wouldn't be possible without my amazing sponsors. Restrict Content Pro, our legacy sponsor, the sponsor who has been with us since the beginning. If you are looking to set up a WordPress membership site, look no further than Restrict Content Pro at restrictcontentpro.com. It is a full-featured, powerful membership solution for your WordPress website. Starts at, hold on, let me click on the pricing table, because it's dirt cheap to start a membership site. 49 pesos, or no, American dollars. 49 American dollars to start a membership site. It's made by the team over at Pippin's Plugins. You can trust it. You know that it's going to do the job, get the job done, and you know you're going to have a team behind you when you have that support question. That's what it's all about. So $49, you can get that. And new sponsor of the month, Conductor Plugin. God, it sounds so darn familiar. I don't know who creates it. That's me, full disclosure. It is my very own plugin. We launched a new website. We have a new version out. It comes complete now with a query builder. So if you're looking to create content blocks for WordPress, meaning you want to show 3 of your top WooCommerce products on a page or a post, or you want to show 10 of your top blog posts in a grid, in 2 columns, in 6 columns, in 14 rows. You can create those content blocks with Conductor. We can do that now in a widget, in a short code. It makes it super easy. It really makes you a powerful WordPress either developer or consultant. Starts at $99 for 100 websites. Tracy, that's like $1 a website. It's a pretty darn good deal. It's a pretty darn good deal, if I do say so myself. If you're looking to create content blocks for WordPress, check it out at conductorplugin.com. Tracy, welcome to episode 20.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You have a plugin. Now, you and I, for folks who don't know, I have another podcast called The Matt Report. You and I chatted. It feels like it has been. It's been years since you've been on the show. But we talked about easy forms for MailChimp all the way back then. How has it been in this product space, specifically easy forms for MailChimp?
I think at the time I had said that I'd never have a product business and sell plugins. But then I had an employee who was a real fan of plugins, and he gave me the push necessary to turn into a freemium plugin. So it's a free-based plugin with add-ons. And I have to say, I'm really grateful and glad that he did, because it's been fun. Right. It has its own challenges versus agency work, but I like it. I enjoy it. I like interacting with hundreds of people.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's good.
Up on the screen, for those of you who are watching the YouTube channel, not just listening to the audio recording, I do have yikesplugins.com up. As you can see, there's a collection of add-ons and plugins that you can purchase and or download. Unlimited license, $125. I'm assuming that's all the add-ons, right? For
all the add-ons on as many sites as you want.
It's an amazing price. I mean, what has it looked since you first started? When you first started the plugin and you were sort of, hey, I don't know if this plugin's really going to work, to all the way to now releasing add-ons. In terms of price, have you had anybody sort of say, geez, $100, that's too much money. I'm not going to part with that money.
No, not at all. Nobody's ever complained over price.
That's good. That's good. Because we see that so many times in I sort of been spending a lot of time in the Facebook groups, right? The page builder groups, the sort of WordPress know-it-all groups. I think that's the title.
Yes.
And you see all these people
Advanced WordPress know-it-allism.
right. And you see all these folks saying like, I'm not going to spend a nickel, right? I'm going to find
Right.
the thing that is free. And even if I'm banging my head against the wall to get it to work, I'm not going to pay anything for it. Look, I think this is short money. I mean, a lot of the WordPress plugins are short money for what they can
Right.
do.
People are very used to free in this space. So they grumble over paying even a small amount. If you look at enterprise software, the buy-in prices to that can be like $10,000.
Right.
You know?
It's crazy. Well, I mean, it's crazy and it's not. I mean, at that level, I think a lot of people are paying for the support from a product, which I guess is no different than what they're doing here. How has that changed the product since the last time we talked years ago? How has that changed the product? Getting that feedback from customers and how has that changed like the development and the add-ons that you're creating, if at all?
It 100%. When we first decided to do a add-on model, I had a list in Trello of all the ideas for all the different add-ons, and that's kind of gone now because things that I anticipated people would want, people have never asked for, and then other things will pop up that multiple people will ask for, and then you give it to them and make everybody happy. I only used MailChimp in the past to sign up people to a mailing list, but I never considered all the things that people would use MailChimp for. People use MailChimp as a CRM, really.
Yeah.
And I never knew what the use cases that people would come up with for MailChimp. It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
So that has driven 100% of bug fixes, features, and add-ons that we build.
Let's talk about the perfect sort of client for the plugin based on, maybe data that you have or just the pure conversation that you're having. Are you seeing it? Is it as a more sort of blogging base? Is it a more sort of a consultant implementing these pop-up forms? What does it look like from your perspective?
We have two kinds of folks that use the plugin. The free plugin is really feature-rich, and you can do a lot with it without having to buy add-ons. There's the folks who have like zero technical knowledge or savvy, and we really make it easy to create a MailChimp form and add it to a page. And that's where it stops. I have, somebody who has a personal blog or a personal website, and they're doing it all themselves, and they're just relying on plugins to build their website. So there's that person. The next level person is someone who builds websites for other people, but not necessarily from the code level. Or they know some code, they know some CSS, but they really rely on plugins to build sites for multiple clients. And that's who the add-ons are more geared towards, and that unlimited license. So they can just spin up sites for their clients and add MailChimp forms and add pop-ups and customize them and have the incentives. So those are I'd say the two main users of our plugin.
In our world, I mean, let's say we live in a crazy WordPress world, right? Like
yes, WordPress all the time.
Right, it's WordPress all the time, and I think that sometimes when we live in this, we live in this vacuum of other maybe developers or WordPressy types of folks who are like, ew, pop-ups. I don't like pop-ups, right?
I don't like them either, but they work.
But they work, right?
Yeah.
And they work really, really well. Has that been a big sort of learning, sort of case for you? And how do you like perceive pop-ups and to even just tell your potential customers they're really not that bad?
Well, I mean, we have a pop-up on our Yikes Plugins website, and before the pop-up, we were getting barely any subscribers, and then after the pop-up, we get a ton of subscribers. So they're annoying, but they work, and you can make them less annoying than others. And pop-ups is the second add-on the third paid add-on that we created, and that 100% came from people asking for them all the time.
Right.
it was our number one most requested feature, and so we built the pop-up add-on.
Yeah.
A little begrudgingly because they're annoying, but they work. What can you do?
Right. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where, and you hit the nail on the head, is you could really make these things a better experience by having better call to action, having a better sort of lead magnet, I think is the proper term for what marketers use these days, and that is to say, it's not just sign up to my email and I'll send you emails. It's going to be learn 15 ways to use this plugin, take our free course. But even that, right, even that stuff, you have to get sharper and sharper on every single day. And if you really want
being less aggressive with the popping up, like storing it in cookies so you don't get it every time you visit the site or on every single page.
Well, no, let's talk about it from a human perspective, being less aggressive with the messaging. You ever go to those websites when they're like, here's a 10% coupon, and then the no is like, I'm a loser, I don't want to save 10%, right? It's just like, come on, like, do we have to be so like against each other with these things? It's nuts. Why don't we go ahead and pop open a demonstration of using the plugin, at the very least setting it up and getting people an overview of what it looks like. Let me transition my screen to pull up your screen. And here we go. We're on what looks to be the first screen, or the MailChimp API setup screen.
Right. So this is when you first install the plugin and you click on Easy Forms. It'll tell you that you need to go to this screen first. And this is where you pop in your MailChimp API key. It's pretty easy to generate an API key. We have instructions. We have a really big knowledge base on our website, and we also have instructions in the FAQ in the WordPress directory. So it's just a few clicks to create and copy your API key. And then you pop it in here, hit Save Changes, and you'll get a little green connected, showing you that you're connected.
Sweet. Doesn't get any easier than that.
Right. I have a video, a YouTube video of actually browsing the WordPress plugin directory, installing the plugin, activating it, grabbing your API key, putting it in, making a form, and then putting it on a page and making that live. And I did it in 90 seconds.
That's awesome.
Just saying.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Can we try to make a form in this demonstration?
Yeah, sure. So here you go to opt-in forms. I have one test form already created, but we'll make a new one. And then all your lists will show up here, and that's brought in from the API connecting to your MailChimp account.
Got it. And this, just to paint the picture for people who are listening, on that screen, you see the list of your forms that you've created, or the pop-ups that you've created, and basically gives you an overview of what that conversion looks like, the name, and sort of that's your home base to managing all that stuff.
Right. The free base plugin does not include pop-ups.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, just saying.
Okay. The free base.
So people don't get confused.
Let's explain that real quick. So the free plugin is going to give you the widget access, correct? Or access to the widget to put in the sidebar?
The free base plugin does a lot. Okay. You can this plugin came about because several years ago we had a client who needed. We mostly still do agency work. That's our primary business. We had a client who needed a MailChimp form in a page. And I looked in the plugin directory, and at the time, there were only widget plugins. So we're like, okay, well, let's make our own plugin. So you can, with a shortcode, pop in a form on a page or a post, or do a widget. And then we were like, hey, let's release this in directory. And we did. And it sat there for a while, and it was popular, and that was cool. And then it had got neglected for a few years until we hired someone who adopted it and did a lot of work on it. So our plugin allows you to add forms to pages, posts. It also integrates with Easy Digital Downloads and WooCommerce. So you can add an opt-in check-in box for those, and Contact Form 7, and the core WordPress register screen and comments.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good.
Right. So lots of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is once you've created a new form, you land here on the form builder. And this is where you can choose what fields you want to add to your form.
Awesome. Now, do these fields have to already be created on the MailChimp side, or are these sort of all the fields that MailChimp supports?
These are all of the fields that you have created in your MailChimp account.
Sweet.
So this one has a lot. You can see they all have ridiculous names. That's because we use it for testing. This is our test MailChimp account. So whatever you have created in MailChimp, that's will come over. If you only had 3 fields, then you would only see 3 fields here.
Got it. Is there any limitation on fields that people have access to in the free version versus the paid version?
No limitations. The one thing that's nice about our MailChimp plugin is you can make as many forms for as many lists as you like.
Got it. Whereas maybe other plugins are limiting you on that amount, right? Maybe the amount.
Right. You can only make 1 form.
I see. Got it.
And if you want to make more, you have to pay. So now I've added the fields that I want to add to my form, and I can rearrange them.
So it's very intuitive, very drag and drop,
Right.
And really easy to set up. What is the interest group? Sorry to sidetrack you, but what is
no worries.
What is the interest group on the right-hand side?
So MailChimp allows you to segment a single list into groups. So let's say you had a volunteer list, and then you wanted to segment people by what they're interested in volunteering, like volunteering to, do something online, or volunteering to, I don't know, come and clean up. So you can have interest groups, and then you can email those interest groups.
Got it.
From a single list. So when you bring over interest groups, people can say, I'm interested in XYZ, and they can check off the ones they're interested in, and then they'll be subscribed to those groups in addition to the main list.
Got it.
And that was something that people had asked for over and over and over again. So then we said, yes, we will add that.
I had to do a better job at using interest groups on my, now that you say that, all that stuff, I need to do a way better job with my MailChimp list.
Okay, so I'm going to hit update. And now, this is something that is brand new as of just today that I'm very excited about. You can now edit field labels.
Sweet.
This is something that you used to have to go back to your MailChimp account and do.
Oh, I see. So it's communicating. This part is now just communicating over. Got it.
You still have to update the form. But now I've updated this field label here on my form and actually in my MailChimp account.
Nice. So it's changing the label both locally on your WordPress site and in the MailChimp account.
Correct. Yeah. So locally here in the admin, on the front end of the site where the form is going to be, and in my MailChimp account. And this is something one of our number one asked support questions. How do I change field labels? How do I change field labels? Right. And we have to be like, oh, well, you got to go to your MailChimp account and go into blah, blah, blah. Now you can do it right here. So that's super awesome.
That's always one of those things as a product creator, you're just like, I can't wait to tell people about, it's finally here, and you're like super excited about it.
I know. I tweeted about it from the Yikes account last night, and it got a bunch of retweets. So I'm like, yay, people are excited. So now within each one of these, there's a whole bunch of settings. Like you can use a placeholder in the input if you want. You can assign a default value. So some people use this for hidden fields. Like they'll add a hidden field, and then they'll add a default value, like maybe the name of the site they were from. And people use MailChimp for a lot of tracking of folks. And we have predefined tags as well that'll automatically grab like the page title or the blog name. So if you want to create a hidden field and pop in the blog name, it'll grab that information and send it to MailChimp so you can see exactly what site people came from.
Right. Which a great use case for this would be, if you're trying to track conversions of a sign-up form or product purchase or whatever, instead of creating 17 different forms to put them all on 17 different pages, you could scoop up what page they submitted this from, and you could just flip your conversions that way. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then description will be an actual literal description that'll show up underneath the field. Additional classes, we tried to make this really designer friendly by allowing people to add CSS classes to really to anything, to the submit button, to the overall form, to a single field, so people can style it how they like. You have that skill set, CSS skill set.
Beautiful.
And then required, hide the field if you want to use that hidden field with default values. And hide labels, so you only use placeholders and not labels in placeholders, which looks nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are the single field settings. We also have form settings. You can add classes to the form overall. You can choose inline forms, which everybody loves, but then everybody wants to have an inline form with 10 fields, and that just is not, it's just not physically possible.
Right.
But if you have name and email button and you don't have a tiny little narrow space you're trying to jam it into, it works well.
Got it.
And then you can choose to have an image instead of a submit button. And you can change the submit button text. And this isn't the only place you can change a submit button text. You can do it in the shortcode as well. We have a nice little button that you can use in an editor button to change it there. Then we have these neat things. You can schedule a time that the form goes active on your site or require a login before they can view the form. And I imagine you could use that for something like a giveaway or a special event that you're running.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
What does it show? So let's say you had this in the middle of a blog post or something like that. With the scheduling, let's say when it's not scheduled, does it say coming soon or something like that, or just not?
I think it's just not there.
Just not there. Okay.
Yeah. And then finally for this part, this is one of my favorite parts of the whole plugin is the custom messages, because one of the goals of the plugin is to make every piece of it translatable into another language.
That's a tremendous goal.
Yeah.
It's not an easy goal to achieve either.
Yeah, not an easy goal, but we have the one thing I love about the WordPress community is that you get in touch with people all over the world that are fans of your plugin, and we've had folks and we have a lot of strings to this plugin. They've translated all the strings into Portuguese or Japanese because they like the plugin, and that's so great.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that you could make these forms in any language. So we have different custom messages like double opt-in, and we also allow people to resubscribe to the same list, which is also another use case that I did not anticipate going into this, but people use that a lot. They use the ability for people to update their profiles via MailChimp forms. And then somebody said, hey, all I need is someone's email address to update someone else's profile. That's a security issue. And while the MailChimp API allows you to do that, I mean, it is true. All I would need is to know is someone else's email address, and I can fill out a form with their email address and change their profile.
Right.
So we did a email authentication. So if you try to do that, it will tell you you're already subscribed, and then to update your email profile, you click on a link and it sends you an email, and from that email you can go on and update your profile.
And that's all through MailChimp, right? That whole sort of authentication process.
No, that's us. That's
okay.
We send out the email to whatever email address that the user put in, yep. And then they can click on to edit their profile. So you can edit all these messages, and you can edit the email that goes out.
That's really cool.
Watch this cool thing. So if I change my opt-in settings, like if I say I don't want to be able to update existing subscribers, now my custom messages change. Because I don't have that whole email authentication piece.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That is sweet.
And then we default to double opt-in because everyone in the world and MailChimp encourages you to do double opt-in. But if you want to do single, you can. And then this changes.
And double opt-in, just for folks if they've never heard it before, is when you get the email from MailChimp to accept, being subscribed to a particular list or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this is something we did in the version that came out a couple weeks ago, and I was really psyched because that email message was not yet translatable, and I really wanted that to happen. And then we used to have all of the messages that were possibly available on the screen. I'm like, well, but if somebody doesn't have those settings, or they're seeing messages that aren't relevant to them, and they'll confuse them. So we did that new thing where when you click, it changes what you see.
Yeah, nice. It's a great touch. Getting this to appear on a page.
All right. Oh, let me show you one more thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Before we leave. One last thing. We have a couple settings like Ajax yes or no. Sometimes there are JavaScript conflicts from other plugins. So you can do no for Ajax, and that fixes some of them. And then redirect on submission, so you can send people to another page after they've submitted the form. Or hide the form after sign up. Oh, and interest groups. That's another thing that I had no idea that people would want. Like, some people need people to replace their existing interest groups when they submit the form. I never anticipated that people would want folks to submit the same form to the same list multiple times. So this is something that absolutely came from user feedback.
And just what is a use case for that? Is that like you said, a lot of people use MailChimp as a CRM. Is this like more in the experience you have with nonprofits, and those are the folks who are doing this, or do you see more marketers using this kind of?
I think it's people who are more marketing for either a business or a nonprofit.
Okay.
Who are really relying heavily on MailChimp to do all of their communicating with their people. Yeah. It's been very interesting. That's one, it's been a lot of learning. Okay, so now we've made this form. That's awesome. How do we get it on a page? On the visual tab, we have this handy little button. And from there, you can pick the form you've created. I'll use the first test form because it only has a few fields. You can choose whether or not you want to display the title or the description. And here you can modify the submit button text. And if you customize the submit button text over in settings, this here will override it.
I like how you made a nice little input field versus sort of just leaving it out there dangling to say like, yeah, you can go and change it in the shortcode, but while you're at it, just type it in right here.
Mm-hmm. Ta-da!
There it is.
And there it is.
Wow, doesn't get any easier than that.
Yeah.
Now, somebody's looking at this and they're saying, well, how do I match the style? Is that all done through sort of custom CSS? Is there an add-on for something like that? Is that maybe a future add-on to have somebody customize the look and feel of a form?
Why, yes, it is an add-on. We have our most popular add-on is our form customizer.
I'm going to pull that up on the screen right now. Form customizer is the first, or no, that's actually the second one because I'm scrolled down a little bit. So form customizer for easy forms. I'm going to click that. And folks can actually see a demonstration. I can see a color picker there on the left-hand side. This is all done what looks to be in the WordPress.
In the customizer, yep.
Awesome.
Which has been a joy to work with.
I hear some sarcasm. Oh,
no,
yes.
I mean, it's awesome. The customizer is really awesome, but then it changes every release, and then there's new stuff you have to, and then it breaks, and then there's new stuff you have to do every time.
I made the fun mistake of trying to build a business around that, and very, very difficult. So I totally get where you're coming from.
But for people who have a CSS skill set, they can make these forms look any way you want. You can add classes on a per field basis or overall form basis. Plus, we had some classes baked right into it, so you could make it look any way you like. And if you don't have that skill set, I don't have the customizer installed here, but you can hit customize and you can edit everything from button color, the width of the form, the distance between the fields, The background color, you can add a background image. Like your sliders for width of the submit button, you can do all kinds of things with it. And there's stuff that we are planning on adding to it, like styling placement holder text, which has been something that people have asked for. So we have plans in the future to even make it more customizable.
And I mean, I think the plugin is awesome. I've been using it ever since we had the conversation years ago, about the plugin. It's 200 plus, right? What are we at here? 206 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty darn good if you ask me.
Thanks. And we just hit 50,000 plus installs recently.
Active installs. It's an amazing milestone. Congratulations.
Thank
you. Leads me to say or ask the question, how does one compete with, air quotes in the air, I know you can't see me, but the big brand sort of SaaS offerings that are out there? People want to know, like, hey, how do you compete against like big names like Lead Pages and Unbounce and all of these sort of marketing optimization platforms? Or do you just say, look, we're really not interested in that avenue. We're really just trying to be a core WordPress plugin. What does it look like? Or your business is about creating a plugin, not actually into core. But what does that look like for you?
For us, it's like we just want to make a nice plugin that people like to use. Like, I really love making things that are easy to use and people enjoy using, and it helps solve their problems. Like the 5-star reviews that we get, they make me so happy because, this is helping people. It's like, oh, this was so easy. I installed it and now I have a form and it's just what I needed. Or, those odd use case situations and our plugin did what they needed. Right. It's the best. So I'm not interested in this plugin being like its own business. You know what I mean?
I got it.
It's a happy addition to, it's a happy additional revenue stream. And I want it to be successful. I'd love for it to have like 500,000 installs.
Right.
And we launched this a little over a year ago as number one, we did a complete overhaul of the plugin itself.
Right.
And then we added the paid add-ons. So it's been a little over a year, and it's been fun, and I just want to see it grow.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. It is easy forms for MailChimp. If you hop on over to WordPress.org in the plugin repo or from your WordPress dashboard, you can go ahead and type in easy forms for MailChimp, search for that, and you can install it. The website, yikesplugins.com. You can get all those add-ons, including a bunch of free add-ons. Like one I have right up on the screen right now is the Yikes custom product tabs for WooCommerce. So if you're into something like that, check that out as well. Tracy, where can folks find you on the web to say thanks?
Oh, my Twitter name is Lil Jimmy, LILJIMMI.
Pressnomics 5 this year? Yes, no?
I don't think so. I'm going to... I'm sorry. I just got off organizing WordCamp US for 2 years.
I hear you.
So mommy needs a break. Yeah. Mommy needs a vacation.
Awesome stuff.
But I will be going to WordCamp San Diego in March, and I'm excited about that.
Nice.
And I'm going to WordCamp Europe. So and I'm looking forward to WordCamp US as an attendee.
Yes. That's awesome. Everybody else is plugintut.com, youtube.com/plugintut. If you enjoy videos like this and you enjoy having plugin creators, authors, developers, designers, business owners on the show to demonstrate their product, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We wanted to hit 1,000. We did that quite convincingly. We're at about 1,200 subscribers now. The year-end goal is 10,000 subscribers. Can we get there? It can only be done through your effort. Please subscribe to youtube.com/plugintut. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.